Rangers pitcher Cody Bradford, former Baylor pitcher. Cody Bradford, David Smoke, 365 Sports. Can you even put into words what you have experienced in the last 24 hours, much less just in the last 2 or 3 weeks?
Oh, my goodness, David. Honestly, I don't know where to start. I guess first I'll just say, all the glory goes to God. He's given me and the rest of the team our abilities to play baseball at this level and the opportunity as well. So can't say enough for the man upstairs, and all the glory goes to him. But David, I don't know. My feet haven't touched the ground yet, and I don't know if it'll ever set in if we're a World Series champ.
There was a chance you were going to be a part of the deciding game. You have been a major part of what the Rangers have done in the postseason. The bullpen really kind of went to a different level. What was it like warming up? Maybe it's you. Obviously, Sports was pitching great. Leclerc he wasn't even needed. What was all of that anxiety, excitement, what?
Yeah, I think, in the moment, you just try and, take the emotions out of it and focus on the job at hand. And, I got hot 3 times yesterday to come in. Mike Maddox had pulled me aside before the game and said, hey, we want to keep you fresh. That's why you only pitched an inning the day before. And it'll either be you or Dunning today if Evo gets in trouble, depending on where we are in the Diamondbacks lineup. And just so happened every time Evo got into a little bit of a scare yesterday, it happened to be, in that left-handed pocket where they needed a left-handed pitcher. And so it was an honor that, Bruce, Bochy, and Maddox had, faith and trust in me to get warm and handle that, But didn't get to come in, but still really, really cool nonetheless.
Cody, the bullpen, obviously there's so many moving parts. It's not an easy job. You never know. Unless you're a closer, you kind of have an idea. But even then, you never know. And you've been a starter, and you did start for the Rangers and made your debut this year. Was anything said, or is it just everybody didn't need to say anything? Everyone just knew that they needed to pitch better and be more, I guess, ready when that time came?
Yeah, I think everybody down there obviously has the talent, right, to get guys out at the big league level. You have guys like Aldis Chapman throwing 100, and even Spores who might have struggled a little bit earlier in the year. But when guys get confidence and you have a couple run lead, and Corey Seager and Simeon putting up huge at bats and the offense scoring a ton of runs, it helps bullpen guys, go in with more confidence and takes a little bit off our plate and allows us to just go out there and pound the zone and throw strikes. And I think, the playoffs was a culmination of that, where, the offense got really hot and seemed to stay hot game after game. And it really helped the bullpen come through when we needed it most.
What's it like in the bullpen? You always hear about the great story. Some guys are a little bit more loose than others. What's that like? What's that Rangers bullpen been like?
It's been incredible. There's a lot of guys down there that have so much more experience than I do in the major leagues. And, I think Chapman has maybe 11, 12, 13 years of service time. Will Smith's got his 10 years of service time. You got a bunch of ex-starters down there. You got Heaney, who started earlier this year, John Gray, who started, even a couple IL guys like Ian Kennedy, who's got 13 years in the show, and so much wisdom and just confidence that they can pass around and help guys like me learn how to fit in and learn how to get guys out. It's incredible. I'd say being in the bullpen, was there was a bit of a learning curve for me. I didn't have any experience in that in high school or college or even pro ball. My first, I guess I had one outing at Baylor my freshman year out of the bullpen, and it was in the elimination game at the very end. It was the last game of the season in playoffs. And Coach Strauss at the time, I had been starting freshman year, and he said, Cody, go get hot. We might not have a game tomorrow. We want you to get you some postseason experience. And I went down there, and freshman me was so excited to come in a playoff game. Went in and gave up 5 runs and didn't get an out. And just kind of came out of that game feeling like a truck hit me and didn't know where it came from. But, man, the bullpen's it's so exciting. You have to watch every out of the game. You have to be engaged. You need to pay attention and see if hitters are making adjustments to the starters and how you want to attack. And it's just a really cool dynamic down there.
You mentioned your debut in the playoffs at Baylor, and your opening game against, of course, was the best team in baseball until the postseason, Atlanta. And you go in there, things are fine, and then you get hammered. Did you use that experience because you became the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year? Here you are on a World Series roster. Did you use that experience this year when things didn't start well?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like with anything in life, you try and use failure as a learning opportunity. And so anytime you fail in baseball, right, that's a good thing. You're able to learn what not to do the next time you go out. And so starting off against Atlanta was no easy task. It was a pretty tall order. And like you said, got knocked around a little bit and was humbled by that. But I learned so much from that one experience, knew what to expect the next time. And the next start happened to be against Baltimore and went a little bit better. And then, ended up facing them in the playoffs. And, if not for that second opportunity, I wouldn't have had the confidence pitching to Baltimore in the playoffs, knowing how to get those guys out. So you never know how the season's going to go. And you can't help but see God's hand in everything. So it's pretty cool.
The end of the season was tough. Obviously, the team was not on fumes, but it was tough. And then Houston had gotten hot and Seattle was playing great. What was that weekend like? And how do you just as a team just like wash it away, go into Tampa, win 2, go to Baltimore, win 2 there? How did that happen?
I think we all expected to go into Seattle and handle business and clinch the division. We went in with a short lead on Houston, but I think we all expected to clinch it. And I think the way Seattle played against us kind of was a punch in the gut, to the team, to the offense, and to the pitching staff. Like, hey, these guys came to play. And, after we won the second game there, I think, or the third game to end Seattle's season, essentially. They had no chance to make the playoffs. Yet, the game, 1 or 2 games after that, they still came out firing on all cylinders. And it's like, hey, these guys aren't going away. We got to turn it up a notch. And we just didn't quite click all at the same time, right? Pitching and the hitting just didn't quite match up when we were there and at the right time until we got to Baltimore. And once we got to Baltimore, Evaldi and Monty had phenomenal starts there. And I think that just able going forward.
Will Smith, how in the world, 3 consecutive years, 3 different teams, and has 3 rings?
Yeah, he's a lucky rabbit foot. The joke on the bus and on the plane on the way back from Arizona today was wherever Will Smith goes, whether he's here next year or with another team, man, that team better know what they're getting because anywhere he goes seems to be a winning team. So that's pretty cool.
How was it like on the road from Seattle across country, flying right over Dallas? And that's been, I know the story's been told, but just as someone like you, what was that like?
I'll say winning baseball games is never a beatdown. That's always, so much fun.
Absolutely.
Now, on me, the rest of the guys, on my wife, that was a very long road trip. And it got to a point where, like, we ran out of laundry on that road trip. We didn't have clean clothes, so we had to start packing clothes in grocery bags and taking it to the field, asking the clubbies, hey, man, can you wash some of my socks? Because I don't have any left in my luggage. We haven't been home to do simple things like do our laundry. So that was pretty kind of funny at the time, but what a fun road trip. It was so much fun.
I've always said this. We all know the NFL, the Cowboys, and what they've meant to Dallas and Fort Worth and where they are in their stature. But I have been a Rangers fan before they even moved to Arlington. I was in D.C. My dad was at the Pentagon. Frank Howard's my favorite player, and he passed away just a couple of days ago. Yeah, so I've been a Senators fan to a Rangers fan. I was like, I could never watch back to Game 6 in 2011 and all of that. And do you understand what this might mean to the fan base too?
Man, when you put it like that, it makes me feel so young and but Dave, I gotta say, the fan base is incredible. I know there's been so many ups and downs, and I grew up a Rangers fan. I grew up in Aledo, just outside of Fort Worth.
Sure.
I remember that Game 6 and 2 in 2011, like the Nelson Cruz missed catch, and something we're never gonna forget. But hopefully now, that makes it a little bit sweeter that in 2023, Rangers fans can say that their team won the very last game of the season. They didn't lose it. And so that's something to hang their hats on. And, it's a testament to the ownership and their vision and, the fans coming to the games and giving support and allowing us to go out and buy players like Corey Seager and Simeon and DeGrom and Evaldi to have that winning culture. So as much as it was the team winning, it's also the fans out there that helped the team win.
Mitch Thompson sent me a text. I told him he helped me get the number, as you know, and he shared the number for you. And, man, I got to tell you, thank you considering all that's going on and where you've been and the travel and the excitement of coming on with us. Great young man, loves Baylor. Just tell him how proud everyone at Baylor is for him and the Rangers. And, of course, David Murphy was on with us on Thursday, former Rangers Baylor player, too. The connection of Baylor. Mitch is trying to turn the program around. And having Cody Bradford on a World Series team and Max Muncy just signed a new deal. How much do you want to see the success at Baylor with Mitch and get Baylor back where they need to be in baseball?
Oh, so much. My wife and I both attended Baylor. We both played sports there. My wife played softball and I played baseball. And we love Baylor sports. We love Baylor athletics. And, we actually still reside in Waco during the off season. I train there in the weight room that the other guys train at too. Maybe just might be a little bit different time, but I can't wait to be around the team this fall and get to talk with Mitch and share some ideas with him and just pick his brain. And if there's any way that I can help the team while I'm down there, man, I'd love that. So, Baylor athletic supporter through and through.
Appreciate you letting me take a little bit more time. Get some rest. I bet you sleep like a baby tonight after getting back home in your bed and have a chance to just soak it all in. And thanks for your time, Cody.
Thanks so much, David, for having me on.
Cody Bradford, Rangers World Series champion pitcher on 365 Sports.